Waiting for any sign of us being live. Let me check on phone again, as usual. Yes, we are live, so that's good. Okay, I see some people coming in already. So welcome everyone to another live stream hosted by Virtual Bacon. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time, 12 p.m. PST or noon or 7 p.m. UTC, we host this call to go over the market, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance, trending narratives, altcoins I'm holding. And today we're going to go over more about the Polkadot Crowdloans. Specifically, I did a little bit more research on last time we covered Moonbeam and Macala. We'll follow up on that. And then I also have done research on Astar, Bifrost, and Fala. So we'll go over those. Yeah, so big focus on Polkadot still, but we'll take a quick look of the entire altcoin market as well. Okay, so that's the schedule for today. And actually, my phone's buzzing, so here. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. Let me go ahead and share screen. And let's start off with Bitcoin dominance here, or Bitcoin analysis. And we are currently live on YouTube, Twitter, and our Discord. So just so that everyone can know where to find us. So here we are, Bitcoin. So like pretty much we've covered on Monday and Wednesday, there really isn't too much to talk about here. Other than the fact that this uptrend continues. The buying opportunity was down here, and very clearly now higher low being at 38K and 41.5K. Higher high at 42.5, at 52.5, and then now, this breakout is very clear that we are making a new higher high. So yeah, we are currently in an uptrend in Bitcoin, and especially that we are very close to testing the previous all-time high, right? This is very exciting. Good sign for the entire market. So previous all-time high was just around 63.7, let's say 64K, right? So we are quite close to that already, right? We're already at 62K almost. So really not much to say there. Like, I wouldn't recommend like using this Bitcoin hype like right here, but Bitcoin being strong is a foundation for the rest of the altcoin market. Obviously, right now, right, Bitcoin is sucking up a lot of the volume from the rest of the altcoins. So we are seeing like altcoin lagging behind, which is very typical in the money flow in crypto, right? Bitcoin pumps first, then large cap, mid cap, low cap. So just need to stay patient. But the fact that Bitcoin is pumping is a super good sign for the entire market, not a bad sign. Even though altcoins are on a dip right now, you cannot blame Bitcoin for this. You just have to know that historically it has happened every time where Bitcoin pump, at some point that money flows into altcoins and altcoins pump even more. So just got to be patient. But yeah, that's Bitcoin chart. Moving on to Ethereum, and let me just make sure that sound is good. Nobody's complaining. Okay, so looks good. Looks good. Okay, so moving on to Ethereum. Also, so far so good, right? Now, if you just Googled money flow in crypto, there will be a very insightful kind of graph, pretty much invented by Rect Capital. Kudos to him. So this here is very key. So what this tells us is right now, currently, right, with whatever you want to say the narrative is, like the ETF getting approved, the new institutions or new retail, whatever it is clear that new money is coming into crypto, and the first point of entry will be Bitcoin, because the main platforms that they get exposed to will be, Coinbase, Robinhood, Wealthsimple in Canada, etc. Right? So very traditional avenues that only have Bitcoin for sure, right? And then once they're on those platforms and they saw some like 10-20% gain in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin starts consolidating, once that happens, the first coins that are also likely to shift into will be Ethereum, because every platform that has Bitcoin has Ethereum. It's just like I can't think of one that doesn't, unless you're like institutional trading Bitcoin, right? But every platform does have both. So that's why the first to move right after Bitcoin pump will be Ethereum. We're starting to see that play out, right? Ethereum is following Bitcoin very closely here, so really good sign. Ethereum is almost at 3,900 now, also very close to its previous all-time high. So I still hold both Bitcoin and Ethereum for the very long term. I think it's a great balance to hold both for the long term, but again, not particularly like insightful here for Ethereum. Like, oh, we can make life-changing money just like that you cannot make in Bitcoin. It's just a bit of a balance in portfolio to have both Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? But yeah, I'm not treating this as like any short-term significant move that we can take. And especially looking at ETH versus BTC here, you see that so far Ethereum still is just following Bitcoin, right? In this, so this is a chart of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and in order for Ethereum to start leading Bitcoin, we need to see this chart going up and at least been an uptrend. And so far, that's not the case, because we had a higher low here, right, at 0.065, and this flag turned bearish as it broke market structure here and broke below the higher low. So the uptrend here was invalidated, and the previous support here at 0.065 turned into resistance, right? And now you see at this today's pump or yesterday's pump, right, we were actually rejected by this 0.065 level again, which means again, Ethereum is still lagging behind Bitcoin. And yes, it's following along, right? You're getting like similar returns, a little bit less, but for the most part, it's not anything spectacular that is just so outstanding that it's outperforming Bitcoin. That's not the case right now. So that's why I'm still just holding both for long term, because for the long term, it's a balanced bet to have both in your HODL portfolio. But short term, not too exciting for Ethereum. Okay, so that's that. And then moving on to Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance continues to rise. All right, what the fuck is this? Hold on here. So in the very long term, we are coming into this neckline level that could be forming a double bottom here for Bitcoin dominance. So this dates back all the way to January of this year, where we had a major alt season lasting 5 months. 2 months correction in altcoins and market in general, followed by 1 month of alt season, and now looking like another month of correction for altcoins against Bitcoin at the very least, right? So if you look at any like major altcoins, when compared to Bitcoin, they are mostly lagging behind. So that's something. Now, I'm not too worried just yet, right? As we've said on the last stream, right, I'm closely watching around 47.5% for Bitcoin dominance. So if we actually flip 47.5% here and form a double bottom here, let me draw that out here on the long term, like weekly time frame right here. with this neckline at 47.5%. If this gets broken, and especially if we close above 47.5% on the weekly candle, that would be a bit more worrying for altcoins, which means like this short-term correction turns a bit more long-term, as Bitcoin will likely continue to suck up the volume from altcoins. Now, hasn't happened yet, right? For all we know, this could stop at any time until this clearly gets confirmed here. So I'm still holding a lot of altcoins, right? Even though they're lagging behind Bitcoin, I'm still not worried just yet, because so far the thesis is still that Bitcoin, the profits in Bitcoin's pump will flow into these altcoins quite soon. So yeah, I'm still holding altcoins. And just to give you a bit more perspective, right? So why do we have to wait for this confirmation here? And that's because if you just look at kind of the inverse chart of this, right? If you just flip that around, and obviously, so this is just 0 minus Bitcoin dominance, right? This will give us a good reality check for the bias, right? So in order for this pattern to be clearly confirmed, right, we need to break below around this level, right? 47.5% for Bitcoin dominance. Now, if this doesn't get broken below, what could that instead turn into? Well, it could easily turn into something like just a parallel flag here, something like this. This would be a bullish consolidation, likely to break towards into another major alt season, right? Or if we get a kind of bounce just right from here, then that would be a kind of rising wedge here, which technically speaking, it's still not that much like a continuation pattern. Still more likely to break towards the downside, but in that case, still we need to see a breakdown. So this is why, even though you see a potential for a double top here for like alt season, because this is the inverse of Bitcoin dominance chart, you do need to wait for confirmation here in order for the very long-term chart to revert. Otherwise, you are basically setting yourself up for like premature like prediction, which tends to lead to disaster. So yeah, I'm not too worried, right? If this does break down and we get a retest here, still wouldn't be too late to shift my altcoin positions into Bitcoin. But looking at the market and how much is happening in altcoins with so many, layer one incentives coming out, AVAX, Phantom, Harmony, BSC, so much going on with NFTs. Solana is like still not there yet. Cardano, right, coming up with smart contracts very soon. Polkadot is starting off. There's so many narratives that could easily revert this Bitcoin dominance here to bring us back into alt season, that I'm really not too keen on like taking profits from altcoins so soon, right? So I'm still patiently waiting here for Bitcoin dominance to confirm the breakout. In this case below, but let's go back to Bitcoin dominance here, the regular chart, right? To confirm this pattern with a break above 47.5%, and especially need to close above it. At that point, I'll reconsider, right? Okay, so that's Bitcoin dominance. So combining Bitcoin dominance and Bitcoin's strength in its rally gives me a clear picture of, okay, now is still the time to get positioned in altcoins while they're super cheap, in relatively speaking, compared to Bitcoin. Okay, so that's Bitcoin dominance. Let's just go over the layer one ecosystems again. So for the types of plays that are in the market right now, starting off with Solana. Let's go back from the... Okay, so this is quite good, actually. Clearly a bit of a symmetrical triangle like consolidation here, which doesn't usually have a directional bias. So you do need to wait for a breakout here, but so far so good, right? On Solana, we have been making a consistent higher lows here. So definitely holding quite well. I personally, I'm not picking up Solana right here because in comparison to the previous all-time high, it has rallied quite a bit already. But yeah, if you're still a Solana holder, like nothing wrong against it. Just because Bitcoin is rallying and Solana isn't right now, doesn't mean it won't come. In fact, quite the contrary. Once Bitcoin consolidates, you'll see like very likely for this to break out, because that money will flow into top coins, and Solana is one of those. Similarly, moving on to Cardano. Yeah, similar pattern here. With so we had this drawn from the last stream, right, where we had a bit of a corrective downtrend, right, in the very short term. So this has been broken out already. So from, right, we had this resistance trend line, right, where in this period, this was a short-term correction downtrend, right? And then once here the resistance, diagonal resistance was broken, now we are at least in a sideways trend, which means price isn't going higher, but isn't going lower either in the short term, right? So I would say that is defined by kind of this range. So between $2 and let's say $2.30, $2.40 range. So now we just need to see consolidation in this range and then wait for a breakout above this range. And then the breakout test here would be a good place to enter. So watching Cardano, right? And especially, yeah, this $2.30 here also dates back to the previous all-time high right here. Yeah, so that's really clean chart actually. So we are looking more bullish than before because this resistance has been broken. So the corrective short-term downtrend has turned into a sideways trend. And now just need to be patient, right? This could last for a while as long as Bitcoin leads and altcoins are staying still, right? But once this starts breaking out above like $2.30, this could be a good entry point here if it does something like this. And especially if this kind of move happens when Bitcoin starts going sideways, that would be also very clear because like most people that have access to Bitcoin, the retail crowd, usually have access to Cardano as well on the exchanges they use. So this is another one to watch, right? Cardano and Solana likely to be the first movers once Bitcoin starts consolidating. And then moving down the list, very clearly we have DOT as well, which I currently do hold because DOT is one of those large cap altcoins. It's in the top 10. And fundamentally, it's so strong right now because the parachain slot auctions are starting on November 11th, which is just very clear buying demand for DOT for the next month and even all the way until March, right? Because this is a multi-month event. So yeah, I'm still holding DOT. I bought a lot on this breakout here. If it comes back down to like, let's say $37, $38, I probably buy even more. Yeah, I don't see this slowing down. So both because of fundamentals for parachains and because once it also fits into the narrative of the first coins that retail have access to that the Bitcoin profits will flow into. So yeah, DOT is not surprised of this pump at all. I think this will likely continue. Okay, and then moving on to some other ones that are slowing down right now. AVAX, right? right around $55, which is the previous all-time high back in February. So AVAX is in a really good buy zone right now. Anything from $40 to $55. So basically anything in this kind of in this box, green box here, is a really good buy. Just because it's the previous all-time high. It also has a bit of consolidation here, right? So tons of support in this range. And it's also right up there. Not as high as Polkadot and Solana ADA, but it is like 11th largest, right? If I'm not mistaken. 9th to 11th. So definitely will be one of the first movers once Bitcoin consolidates. Right along with it, we have Luna. This is also very similar market cap to AVAX. Also, most of the crowd that has access to Bitcoin also have access to Luna. So another one to watch. This one isn't slowing down much. So I would ideally wait for it to come back down to around $25, $24, around the previous all-time high to add. But yeah, so far so good. Still holding. And then the rest of the layer 1 bags, Cosmos, right around $30 range, the previous all-time high. Also good. It is also a large cap, right? Most people have access to these coins. Algorand, right around $1.70. Also the previous all-time high right here. Tested 3 times back in February, April, and May, right? So good level of support. Same setup. And then Phantom, moving down the market cap list, right? Phantom is a bit mid cap instead of high cap. And yeah, this one is kind of still in it's rallied quite a lot from previous all-time high already, from 94 cents all the way to $2. So I wouldn't pick this up right now, but yeah, if it comes back down to this range, I definitely add. And then alongside with it, we have Harmony. Harmony's still decently cheap, right around 20 cents, previous all-time high, right? So same setup, right? Same setup as AVAX, Algorand, Cosmos, Luna, right? Yeah. Maybe just one more, Elrond or eGold. Also similar setup, right around $240 was the previous all-time high right here. So yeah, all of these I would say are good picks for layer 1 ecosystems because they're all within the same narrative. Obviously, I like to pick the strong coins with good kind of price action. So it shows like even in the short term, in this narrative, it's leading the narrative. And I want to see coins that have strong fundamental catalyst events coming up, which I think my favorites from this list, definitely DOT, right? Because parachains are so important. And then AVAX, because the AVAX rush, the liquidity mining incentive, will actually start like pretty much this week, in the month of October at the very least. Versus stuff like Phantom, Harmony, Algorand, these incentives haven't started yet. So AVAX will be the first one to start. So yeah, AVAX is one of my topics there. Yeah, I would say my favorites would be DOT and AVAX among that list. But nothing wrong against also Cosmos with IBC just starting to pick up with interoperable kind of projects coming up. So I will also put Terra Luna on that list because Terra Luna is built on the Cosmos SDK. So yeah, so I would say my favorites are in this list would be Polkadot, AVAX, and then Cosmos Atom and Terra Luna. Yeah, so that's my list of strong performers with also good catalyst events that's like live right now. Okay, and then moving on, let's look at Crowdloans, right? So let me bring up that spreadsheet if I can find it. Crowdloans tokenomics. So last stream on Wednesday, right, on the day that the Crowdloans the pair chains were announced, we went over Akala and Moonbeam's tokenomics for their Crowdloans. I just want to do a quick recap, see if they did any announcements yet. So let me see here. Akala, Crowdloan. And let me also go on Twitter because that will be likely the first drop of the news. Like I said, like this is all public information, right? I don't have extra information that, you know, only I know. So this is part of the reason why I think it's such a good opportunity because oh, there might be something here. Because this is all public information. If you're good at Googling, if you're on Twitter a lot, you can discover the same information that everyone else has. So ooh, okay. So this is the quest we went over. Oh, what is this? This is interesting. This was not available there. Okay, so option 1, contribute directly. You need at least 5 DOT. It will be locked for 2 years. Option 2, minimum 1 DOT. Receive 1 liquid DOT. Redeemable for 2 years. Okay. Were there any tokenomics released here? Let's see. Kala Crowdloan. 40 tweets in the last hour. Huh. Anyone tweet about anything? No. Oh. Got this huge video. Actually, not huge. 2 minutes. Liquid Crowdloan dot launch. This was what we looked at last week. So I think the tokenomics is likely still TBA. Okay, so this was yeah, we already saw this. Let's see if they posted any new announcements today. September 8th. No, wait, this is this person only? Nope, still the same. Kala network. So yeah, I think on the networks, on their official site, there's a token page. Why is this so slow today? Come on. Oh my god. Oh, here. Kala token. Still TBD. Yeah, so haven't announced anything. So yeah, just a quick refresher. Akala will be at least releasing 11% of their token as reward. Likely 22, could be as high as 22%. So I'll make this spreadsheet into a calculator so that you can see, like, based on how much they raised, what the valuation will be. Yeah. Okay, moving on to Moonbeam. Yeah, Moonbeam, we don't really need any extra info. We basically have all of it already. They have about 15% to release. So yeah, so far, Moonbeam will likely be a better bet than Akala, but also depends on how much they raise. Now, moving on to something more, something new. Astar Network, right, is probably the third largest project on Polkadot. It used to be called Plasm. So they did a they also did a canary network on Kusama called Shiden, right? And so the Shiden network Crowdloan released 22% reward. So this was really high, and they only raised 45 million. So if I go on Parachains info, so with this tokenomics here, right, with the Shiden network, 45 million raised, selling 22%. So that's about $2 million per 1% of the total supply, which means people that participated in the crowd loan were pretty much investing in Shiden at $200 million valuation, which wasn't too high, right? Because Moonbeam was at 250. Moon River was at 250. So obviously Shiden still isn't as popular as Moon River because it's currently only valued at 320 million diluted valuation versus Moon River's 2.8 billion. However, I do think that gap will be closed a lot more with Astar versus Moonbeam because most of these ecosystems, right, like Shiden, Karura, weren't really live on their canary networks versus Moon River. So pretty much Moon River was the only one that like really released a EVM compatible chain that anyone can deploy, and migrate their Ethereum smart contracts over, a Solidity smart contracts over, and build a bridge, right? There's a bridge, and you can like take your ETH or stablecoin to Moon River and trade there already. So that's a big difference of why Moon River was valued at way higher than Shiden. But I do think that gap will be closed a lot more, and Astar's valuation will be much higher than Shiden's. So with that, Astar hasn't really announced anything, but looking at their total tokenomics, the breakdown is about the same for Shiden and Astar, which means I do think they will put out about 22% in Astar Network's crowd loan. So I think this one could be also a good opportunity to add to the list, because if you look at the previous auctions here on Lithium Tree came out with a waitlist on Kusama for Shiden. You see that they were kind of underlooked a bit, even though they were also very big. They weren't as popular as Moon River and nowhere close to Karura, which means in the Polkadot auctions, these three are still leading, right? But if majority of people contribute to Akala again, and Akala only comes out with 11% of reward, and a lot of people contribute to Moonbeam as well because Moon River did really well, people might be dismissing Shiden and dismissing Astar. It's possible. If that is the case, and we see something like Astar Network raising like only 50 million again at 22%, that would give something like Astar Network a couple $100 million of valuation, which would be very undervalued. So definitely keep an eye out on this as well. I would say Akala, Moonbeam, and Astar all have very, very good reward percentages, between like 11 to 22% that they're releasing. So look out for the total amounts that they raise in the crowd loan. Whichever one has like very small amounts will be good. Now I'll add couple more columns here for like calculations, so we can keep track. But yeah, Astar also really good. Definitely pay attention. Now, moving on to a couple more. Bifrost was the number 4 slot winner on Kusama. They raised 47 million there. However, I dug a bit deeper, and I think they said they aren't going for a slot on Polkadot. So they are launching their main network on Kusama's parachain instead of Polkadot's parachain. And their plan is to do their main network on Kusama for the first year, and then once the slot expires in a year or 11 months, they'll move on to Polkadot. So they probably won't participate in this auction round for Polkadot, which means like it's like there's not much to do here. So that does free up one slot here on the top 5 for someone else to come in. So I think the Polkadot first 5 slots will actually be very competitive because Bifrost is in there, and then someone else could come in, as well as you see a bunch of other projects that didn't really go for a Kusama parachain, but might go for a DOT parachain. For example, Equilibrium. This is a big project. They're a huge money market, so lending, borrowing, stablecoin, right? They were actually the team behind USDT, so the largest stablecoin on EOS. And they might be they're definitely doing a Polkadot Crowdloan as well. And I think they could be a competitor for the top 5. So for this project, they did a token sale already as a pre-sale for 240 million valuation. And in this Crowdloan, they are releasing 10% supply as a reward, which is still kind of competitive in comparison to, let's say, Akala's 11%, right? So yeah, if let's say Akala raises like 180 million again, and Equilibrium only raises 50 million, I would say this would be a good valuation again. So really important to go over more projects in the Polkadot Crowdloans, because the top 5, I would say Akala, Moonbeam, Astar are pretty much for sure in the top 5, but number 4 and 5 are going to be very competitive. I think Equilibrium has a solid shot to be in that list and still be undervalued. Sora is another like chain that's already live, technically speaking, and they have their token trading. They have a huge ecosystem and huge community. Darwinia also has huge community. These two could be in the top 5 as well. Efinity, this is another one that isn't really no allocation left for Crowdloan, but tons of funding. So Efinity is a NFT and / gaming chain that's built by the team behind Engine, and it will be interoperable with Engine, and it's built on top of Polkadot. So these guys also could have a chance to go for a parachain slot. Now, they don't have any allocation left for the Crowdloan, so they might just use their own money. This is a dark horse to watch, definitely. Also, another one is Clover Finance. This is another huge project that did a token sale on CoinList, actually. So another big one. So I would say Sora, Darwinia, Efinity, Clover, Equilibrium, and Phala all have chances to be in the top 5. Even like Manta Network, which was Calamari, they raised actually a lot in the second round on Kusama. You see Calamari raised like 76 million here in the second round. Basilic or HydroDX raised also 77 million. So tons to watch. I think the top 4 and 5 slots will be very competitive. Which, what does that translate for us, right? It means that I think Akala Moonbeam will be heavily subscribed. Astar probably will too, in like 100 million plus, which means the valuations for these will be will really depend on how high they get to. But when it comes to 4th and 5th slots, because you have like Phala, Equilibrium, Manta, HydroDX, Swara, Darwinia, Infinity, Clover, that could all go for it. Their crowdloans might not have so much money in it, which means their valuations could be much lower. So I would say I'll be watching the top 3, right? If any of the top 3s end up not raising too much, I would definitely put majority of my money in them, in the ones that are undervalued. But if they all end up raising a huge amount, then I think the 4th and 5th slots, because they will be so competitive and people will not know which ones to choose, there could be good opportunities here as well. And specifically, just a bit more tokenomics that's interesting. Phala Network, they, even though they have a canary network called Kala that is on Kusama, they only have one token, the Phala token, PHA, and this token is already live on Binance. If you look it up on CoinGecko, PHA. Come on, PHA. Here, they are ranked 350th right now and valued at fully diluted 800 million. So this one is interesting because the token is already trading. So I would doubt that you can get a very good, like a large allocation at like a very low market cap, right? Because this already is trading. However, they are using probably 7.5% of their token supply as the Phala crowdloan reward, which means it's very interesting because you can do some math already on this. So the project is currently valued at 800 million, right? And then if you take 0.075, so 7.5% of that, what you get is 60 million, right? That the Phala tokens that they have left over, right? This 7.5%, if you bought that from the open market, that would only be worth $60 million, which means if Phala raises in the crowdloan less than 60 million, then there is very clear arbitrage there, right? You can participate in the crowdloan, you get a token, you sell it directly in the market, you like pretty much have guaranteed profit. But if they raise over 60 million, then I don't know if they can even do that, because pretty much nobody will contribute anymore. Because if they want the Phala token, they might as well just buy on the open market. Why would they pay extra? So, keeping that in mind, knowing that Phala will only be able to end up raising like probably $60 million in the crowdloan, this also might kick them out of the top 5 slots in the first round, which means Bifrost might be out, Phala might be out of the top 5, right? If you go by the Kusama standards, right? Bifrost and Kala. So Bifrost and Phala on Polkadot might not be in top 5, which means the 2 slots will be very competitive. So I still don't know who is going to be filling those 2 slots, but I do know that I don't think you can do Bifrost for Polkadot, and I don't think Phala will be very competitive. So yeah, so far after digging a bit more, Astar is very competitive. So Astar, Moonbeam, Akala are the ones to watch so far. Equilibrium has a decent chance. Manta hasn't released any tokenomics, but they're very good projects. Same as Hydra DX. Same as Affinity and Clover and Sora Darwinia. So definitely keep an eye out for these. Just in case any of them is like underlooked and end up not raising much. So yeah, a bit of side news. Binance did announce that they are supporting the crowdloans, and so did Huobi. So pretty much like Binance, Huobi, Kraken, KuCoin, Gate, like all these top exchanges will support the parachain slot auctions. So if you don't know how to participate, like you can certainly just use one of these exchanges. Obviously, you would get less returns; they'll take a fee, but yeah. And the fact that they said this pretty much confirms a little bit more that these tokens will be listed, because looking back at KuCoin, Kusama crowdloan or auction, you see, KuCoin supported this first and second batch of Kusama parachain auctions. So what did this lead to, right? This led to the fact that all of the participants on KuCoin, right, when they got the tokens back, let's say the Karura, Moon River, Fala, Bifrost, Shiden, these tokens were all listed on KuCoin day one, right? This kind of came as a package for like when these, when these crowdloans, supporting these crowdloans pretty much came as a package of like listing will also be right after. So the fact that Binance came out and said that they will support probably also means that they will at least list the first five, at least the first batch, the first five on Binance. Like I'm quite sure. Akala, Moonbeam, and Astar will be on Binance like day one. Which means it also adds to the speculation that the fourth and fifth slots, because they are very iffy as to who will be there, the ones that win probably will be also just carried onto Binance and could be really interesting place there. If the fourth and fifth slots end up being like smaller projects, then could be very interesting, if you get what I mean. Like obviously if they end up, the fourth and fifth slots end up being super large valuations as well, that wouldn't be as interesting. But because we aren't sure which ones will be there could be very asymmetric returns there. If it ends up being smaller projects, but they win the slot, they come on Binance, could be a big pump. So just speculation still. I literally have no idea, because like none of these projects really have released their full tokenomics yet for the crowdloan. But definitely will continue doing research here and updating the spreadsheet. Okay, that's about it for crowdloans that updates that I have dug more into. Let's do a bit of Q&A here. Let me switch to Q&A banner. And let's bring up Discord first. So Harmony 1, if you have time at the end. Yeah, Harmony is just it's good. It fits the narrative. They have an incentive, they have an ecosystem starting to build. But I don't know. It's the catalyst isn't as strong as like Dot or AVAX, Luna, Cosmos, I would say. Are you still picking up Joe? I'm not buying more right now because I'm starting to buy Dot, but I do have it still. And I'm going to hold until it pumps. Like it's just like now terrible time to get out of Joe, right? Banker Joe just launched. Their TVL is starting to tick up. Joe Rush is coming like literally in days. So Joe, Sin, both the same thing. Yeah. You really just cannot capitulate here. Like all the signs point to them pumping really soon. Fundamentals, Bitcoin's pump with money flowing back in, with incentives starting right on AVAX. Yeah. What happens to AVAX from here, in your opinion? Sorry, not AVAX, KSM. So that money will be flowing to DOT. Like that's my opinion. So because it's just clear. The Kusama Crowdloans second batch is done. Now it's Polkadot's turn. NFT projects you're watching, do you think NFT has this moment now? Like, not really any. Hashmask. Lost Poets. I sold most of my poets because their updates are just too slow and the rest of the market is pumping. But when poets get on Sotheby's, there will be another pump. Hashmask, right? Floor continues to rise. That's about it. Like you know what my favorites are. Party Degens also very good. I think it's launching in a couple days. I think it's Sunday that they're launching. Parallel, the second pack drop is October 30th, if I'm not mistaken. In the crowd loans, do you continue to receive the project tokens throughout the 2-year lock? Yes. So you will have a big chunk unlocked in the beginning, and then every, I think, months you would get more. Either months or 2 months. I'm not sure. Yeah, over the 2-year period. Any projection on BTC? We following stock to flow. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, how am I supposed to predict that? You know? Yeah, it's up, but up when and how much and what day? I don't know. Like, nobody knows. So, Dr. Pessimist says, Dennis, will you adopt me? I don't know. I'm not. All of us. Oh my god. Hashmask just auto gather NCTs for derivatives, Coinbase NFT list. Yeah. Hashmask is a good project. Lie to me if you will. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I don't even think it's lying to say Bitcoin will go up continuously as long as like nothing wrong happens, just in the very long term. So, but yeah, like when it comes to prediction as to like what day it will hit what, that literally nobody knows. So, but the fundamentals are there, right? It's inflation is strong, so it'll continue to go up as long as inflation goes up. So, okay, let's move on to live stream questions. Let's see. How do we buy Moonbeam? You have to participate in the crowd loan. So you need DOT and you need to Google Moonbeam crowd loan tutorial. Yeah. And you can do it through Binance and maybe even Coinbase. I'm not sure. Most likely Binance. You can contribute your DOT through Binance to get Moonbeam tokens. Yeah. I should have bought DOT after talked about it 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's still early. It's still very early. Like, don't tell yourself that. I didn't buy like 2 weeks ago. I didn't go all in like that. You know, it's always gradual. And I'll probably end up buying more and more DOT over the next month. Dennis, you think ETF will cause the market to dump? No. Sec. Should have a call here. Okay, so that's my sign. I don't see any really $120 dots. Yeah, I think it can hit 200 in this quarter. That's not going to be a problem. $100 is pretty much programmed. I see a bunch of projection questions again. What about Luna? We covered Luna. Just go over this call. Have until November 11th until the first parachain auction goes live. Then it's just valuing tokenomics. Yeah, to see the best value. Heavy on Moonbeam. Yeah, Moonbeam, Akala, Astar are the main ones to keep track of. Projection on Ethereum short term. Nobody knows. Up, right? Following Bitcoin. Okay, that's about it for today. Thank you guys for joining. I will share this spreadsheet in the Discord. And probably I'll paste it also in the YouTube comments. So yeah, continue updating this. Still holding dots, still holding a lot of DeFi coins. Market's looking good. Bitcoin going up is not a bad thing. The money will flow back in. Okay, thanks guys. I'll see you on Sunday. Bye for now.